How many of us remember our first time? This topic is relevant because most of you have kids, and sooner or later we'll be making this decision soon. Sex education can prevent pregnancy as well as sexually transmitted diseases. Research shows that sex education being taught in public schools can help teens make more informed decisions when the time comes to make the decision. Today I'll be covering what sex education is, how it can prevent things like pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, as well as its benefits and outcomes from being taught in public schools. There are many groups out there that are against sex education being taught in public schools. But let me tell you what it is. Why is it important to know what sex education is, and what exactly is sex education? Well, according to an article wrote by Monica Silva, there are two different types of sex education being taught in schools today. The first we'll talk about is abstinence sex education. And in abstinence sex education, it's not an informative approach, it is an approach to help youths and teens stay away from engaging in sexual activity rather than prevention methods and things like that. The second type of sex education that is being taught in public schools is value-based sex education. And this is an informative approach that does teach things with prevention of sexually transmitted disease, prevention of pregnancy, and also teaches the important aspects of using contraceptives when engaging in sexual activity. Sex education is important to know because it encompasses all things that define us as men and women. Sex education is also important because it teaches history, values, and sexuality shape who we are, and that is according to Sex Health Services Support's website. The most important factors that parents want to know what exactly their kids are being taught in public schools today when it comes to sex education and prevention measures. Now let's talk about how sex education can prevent things like pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases. Comprehensive sex education is very effective because it does not promote risk among youths. According to the website effectivesexeducation.org, outcomes of teaching comprehensive sex education are delaying the initiation of sex among youths, as well as reducing the frequency of sex among youth. It is also effective in preventing unprotected sex among youths and teens. And there are different rules and regulations governing states that are teaching sex education. And I'll just give you a little information about those. As of right now, there are 22 states that mandate sex education. There are 33 states that mandate HIV sex education. There are 37 states that require school districts to involve parents in the teaching of sex education. And there are 18 states that require information on contraceptive be provided to the students when giving sex education. As you can see in front of you, I've given you a map of states that are teaching sex education. And as you can see by the red states, the solid red states, that's where sex education is mandated by law. If you look at the other states that are striped, colored, that's where the states where sex education must be medically accurate. That means it has to be proven what they teach is accurate when it comes to prevention measures. And California and Louisiana are the only two states on the map that forbid the promotion of religion being incorporated to their sex education classes. According to the website 11 Facts About Sex Education in the United States, research showed that students who received comprehensive sex education were 50% less likely to experience pregnancy. We can see why it is important to teach sex education. Now let's look at the outcomes and benefits of teaching it. So what positives did we see from teaching sex education? According to the website factsonamericanteens.com, pregnancy rates among teens went from 117 per 1,000 in 1990 to 68 per 1,000 in 2008. Also, according to Facts on American Teens website, the number of sexually transmitted diseases has dropped from 9.1 million being reported to just under 8 million being reported. Sex education programs have been so effective that 88% of schools are teaching it and making sex a safer practice among youth. After hearing all this, we can now see why sex education should be taught in all schools. We need you and others to push for more sex education in public schools to drive the number of teen pregnancies and STDs down. Don't let your child be the next statistic.